Councilwoman Eckhart.
Here.
Councilman Larker.
Here.
Councilman Lord.
Here.
Supervisor Hay.
Here. Notations, exits in the front and the rear. An electronic device, please put it on vibrate. We have two agendas this evening. The first is the organizational, and we have a small business one with about 7 quick items on it. Now, what I like to do with the organizational, I will read the motions. If anyone wants to discuss it at any detail whatsoever, just say, I'd like to discuss. I'll put it next to it, and we'll go back, so we can do, this way here we can save time instead of going yes to 39 different things.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay, first one is,
You need a second first.
no one's open the meeting?
I'll second.
Hey, look at them all, everyone wants to. Okay. Okay, the first is a motion to adopt rules of order, Robert Rules of Order. 2, motion to adopt town board meeting dates, Thursday, January 24th, February 7th, and February 28th, March 14th, March 28th, April 11, April 25th, May 9, May 23, June 6, June 27, July 11, July 25th, August 6, August 8th. I'm getting my cataracts then. I've been saying that for months, I know, but it's getting closer. August 8th to August 29th, September 12th to September 26th, October 10th and October 24th, November 7th and November 21st, December 5th and December 19th. Motion to set roll call voting order to town board, Edwin Alvarez, Lynn Eckhart, Eric Larka, John Lord, Tony Hay. Motion to designate official depositories for the town of Southeast Tompkins Mahopac Bank and other banks that may need to be designated from time to time. Motion to appoint an official newspaper. This year we had 2 applicants for the paper, the Putnam Examiner and the Putnam Press. Does anyone want to make a motion to put one of them there at this point in time?
I'll make a motion to the Putnam Press.
Okay, I'm gonna, someone second?
I'll second.
Now, we're gonna take this one out of order because we added that too. So on this one here, is there a need for a roll call or all in favor?
All in favor, is fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so number 5's already been done, we'll do the end. Number 6, motion to adopt employee handbook. 7, motion to appoint emergency coordinator, Gerald Schrammick. Motion to designate town consultant engineer, Nathan L. Jacobson Associates, Inc. Motion to designate town consultant planner, AKRF. Motion to appoint Willis H. Stevens Jr., town attorney. He has a term, but we just, confirm it each year. Motion to appoint delegate to annual Association of Towns meetings and alternate, Michelle Stancotti, alternate Willis H. Stevens Jr. 12, motion to appoint fixed asset officer, Ron Hun. Motion to set mileage rate per IRS, and it went from 46.5 to, I think it's 50 cents even this year. It went up a bunch, 3.5 cents. Motion to adopt standard workday in accordance with union contracts. 15, motion to appoint the dog control officer, Courtney Pagano. 16, motion to authorize Putnam County to levy taxes. 17, motion to appoint park and enforcement officers, Michael Levine, Joe Hernandez, Peter Carey, and Gerald Schrammick. 18, motion to appoint park and administrator, Susan Tobacco. 19, motion to appoint deputy supervisor to be designated when necessary from time to time. Number 20, motion to appoint administrative assistant to supervisor, Chris Dubois. 21, motion to appoint town tax receiver, Susan Tobacco. Motion to appoint deputy tax receiver, Maureen Callan, Billy Joe Frossel, and Sherry Migliaccio. Number 23, motion to appoint deputy town clerks, Elizabeth Cerrone and Donna Malazzo. 24, motion to appoint deputy town clerk, Elizabeth Cerrone, as deputy registrar of vital statistics. 25, motion to appoint town court clerk, sorry. We get that confused on the, all the time, especially with the calls to the town, is Janice Burquest Anne Marie Milano. Number 26, motion to appoint zoning officers, Michael Levine, Joe Hernandez, and Gerald Schremek. 27, motion to appoint town historian, John Duncan. Motion to appoint the following board seats. Architectural Review Board, John Gowdy and Catherine Weber, terms to expire 12/31/21. Ethics Board, Michelle Stancotti, term to expire 12/31/19. Anthony Colello, term to expire 12/31/20. And Nancy Jacob, term to expire 12/31/21. Historic Sites Commission, John Duncan, term to expire 12/31/25. Library Board, Kevin Finnegan and Catherine Sakowitz, term to expire 12/31/23. Planning Board, Eric Cypress, term to expire 12/31/25. Tenant Advisory Board, Carl Liebich, Patricia Borman, Mike Langley, Robert Lund, Karen Radijak, Bill McGregor, one-year terms. Number 29, motion to appoint Tom LaBerge to Planning Board Chairman and David Rush, Vice Chairman. 30, motion to appoint Planning Board Secretary Victoria DiSadiro. 31, motion to appoint John Gowdy to Architectural Review Board Chairman. 32, motion to appoint Timothy Frossel to Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman and Paul Bink Vice Chairman. 33, motion to appoint liaison to town departments. I'm going to hold that until the end. 34, motion to set 2019 fee schedule. 35, motion to have employees sign 2019 town vehicle policy. 36, motion to have all employees sign ethics policy. 37, motion to adopt 2019 holiday schedule. 38, motion to extend the IMA shared services with the Village of Brewster, uniform court officer, and parking enforcement of dedicated lots. And number 39, motion standard workday and reported by elected officials. So with that, we are moving, with the exception of 5, which we've done, and number 31 as a package. So moved.
I'll second.
33.
33, Tony.
Which one?
33.
You said 31.
I told you I can't see good. Wow, when one start looking like 3s, I'm really getting bad. Okay, so with that, there was a motion, was there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, the reason I want to go back to number 33, we have a new member of the board, and sometimes, we have one member serve, and then other people want to attend, so what I'm going to do is call off each one. If your name is there and you don't want to serve on it, you tell us, and if someone would like to be this, like, not an alternate, but a second person to be the liaison, just announce it with. On the ARB, it's Edwin Alvarez. Does someone want to be a second? Okay, Code Enforcement, John Lord. Same question. If you have something to say, just say it. Highway, Lynn Eckhart. Historic Sites Commission, Lynn Eckhart. Library, Lynn Eckhart. Parking, John Lord. Come on, guys.
I want part.
You got it already. Okay. Planning Board, Lynn Eckhart, Eric Larka. Recreation, John Lord. Special Districts, Eric Larka. Village, John Lord. Zoning Board of Appeals, Edwin Alvarez. Seeing no change, I make the motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have the recognition of public and comment here in town board, but we will put that off until the next portion of the meeting, which will take just a few brief minutes. So I make a motion to close the organizational meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now I make a motion to go into the work session and regular meeting for today's date, which is January 10th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We've already done the pledge, the notation of exits, electronic device on vibrate. The first item on the work session is just one, two, three. This is just the EAF for the ARB. It does not take, when we pass the resolution for it later on, this is just backup to it. We don't have to vote on it. It's just extra material for it. So that's why I put it onto the work session, so it doesn't get confused or put into the regular meeting. But it will be part of the resolution when we declare what lead age is, everything. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
So now I'm going to ask that we move to the, go from the work session now to the regular meeting. So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the first thing is a certiorari settlement for Block Building Associates, tax map number 59.19-1-40-2. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Southeast does hereby accept the recommendations of its professional advisors and authorizes the town attorney to execute a stipulation of settlement, consent judgment, and/or order on consent in accordance with said recommendations for the following. Petitioner, Block Building Associates, tax ID 56.19-1-40.2, year 2018, assessment $1,575,000, settled assessment $1,050,000. And be further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all stipulations, consent orders, or other documents necessary to reflect the foregoing settlement. So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Where is this?
The block building?
If you were to drive past Kobackers going towards Canada Lake, it's on the left, that big
Old
gray.
Herb's building?
I'm sorry?
Yes.
The old Herb Seed
Yep.
Company, yes.
Okay, thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 2, resolution certiorari settlement, Keelsing Holdings, tax map 68.5-2-6. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Southeast does hereby accept the recommendation of its professional advisors and authorize the town attorney to execute a stipulation of settlement, consent judgment, and/or order on consent in accordance with the recommendation for the following. Petitioner, Kelsing Holdings, tax ID 68.5-2-6, year 2018, assessment $1,525,900, that should be, or 90?
That's correct.
Which one, 90 or 900?
900.
Yeah.
Okay, we add one extra zero there. Settled assessment, $1,200,000. And be further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all stipulations, consent orders, or other documents necessary to reflect the foregoing settlement. So move for discussion.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Where is this building?
You have to, Lori can.
This is the vacant car dealership across from Subaru,
Right.
Okay.
Old Brady
The
Standard?
old
Brady
Brady
Standard.
Standard.
Old Brady Standard.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 3, a resolution, Tompkins Mayapack Bank, we have to set up an account for the Brewster Public Library Improvement Fund. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor and town finance officer are hereby authorized to establish a separate and segregated demand deposit account with Mayapack Bank and shall deposit therein such funds received through the sale of bonds or otherwise for the purpose of making capital improvements to the Brewster Public Library, and be further resolved that the supervisor, town board members, and the town finance officer are hereby authorized to sign and execute any and all signature cards or other necessary documents prepared by the town's banking institutions to evidence such signing authority, and be further resolved that all checks drawn on such demand deposit account shall require 2 signatures, consist of any 2 individual members of the town board and our town financial officer, Ron Hunt, and be further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to forward a copy, the certified copy of this resolution to the town accounting and bookkeeping department and the Mayapack Bank forthwith. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is a resolution, Tompkins Bank, Brewster Public Library Fund. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor and town finance officer are hereby authorized to establish a separate and segregated demand deposit account with Mayapack Bank and shall deposit therein such funds as are appropriated and reappropriated to the Brewster Public Library on an annual basis, and be further resolved that the supervisor, town board members, and the town finance officer are hereby authorized to sign and create any and all signature cards of the necessary documents prepared by the town's banking institution to evidence such signing authority, and be further resolved that all checks drawn on such demand deposit accounts shall require two signatures consisting of two individual members of the town board and/or the town financial officer, Ron Hunn, and be further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to forward a certified copy of this resolution to the town accounting department and bookkeeping department and with the Mayapack Bank forthwith. So moved for discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, it's a resolution to declare lead agency, amend the architectural review board process. Now therefore be resolved that this pursuant to 617.6 in brackets B, brackets 1, the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQRA, the town board of the town of Southeast hereby declares itself lead agency for the purpose of SEQRA for the unlisted action. So move for discussion.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 6 is a resolution of the negative declaration, forget that, amend the architectural review board process. You have, Bill, how much of this has to be read into the record? It's over.
Just read the conclusion, which is on the second page. It says, "In conclusion, proposed action will not have any significant adverse environmental impacts." That's the declaration of no impact.
Okay, you just read, do I have to do it again? Okay, contact person is Michelle Stancotti, town clerk, address Town of Southeast Town Hall, 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, 10509, telephone number 845-279-2126. A copy of this notice has been filed with Honorable Tony Hayes, Supervisor, Town of Southeast, Michelle Stancotti, Town Clerk, Town of Southeast, Putnam County Department of Planning and Development and Public Transportation, 841 Fair Street, Carmel, New York. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
And the last one is a resolution, local law number 1 of 2019, amending chapter 3, Architectural Review Board. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby adopts local law number,
1,
how did that?
number 1.
Now I could swear I see a 3, so it's not my eyes.
No.
Yes, okay. Local law number 1 of 2018, which would enact amendments to Chapter 3 of the Code of the Town of Southeast entitled Architectural Review Board to modify the referral process for minor and major projects, and be further resolved that the town clerk be and is hereby authorized and directed to A, enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting in the code book of the Town of Southeast, and B, give the due notice of the adoption of said local law by filing such with the Secretary of State of New York within the time required by law. So move for discussion.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Recognition of the public.
Yep, I'll change those two.
How are you? I'm Mike Bruin, local resident. I have 3 points to address tonight. The first is what I believe to be an illegally transacted foil fulfillment. I don't know if anyone on the town board's familiar with this.
We
Yes.
are.
Read
Yes.
emails.
We don't believe it's illegal, but you can go on.
I believe it's for quite a few reasons. Has anyone looked up even just the frequently asked questions on the New York State website on FOIL requests?
I am very familiar, and before I was on this board, FOIL, I was known as the Queen of Foils, so I'm pretty familiar with it. I've also spoken to Bob Freeman on numerous occasions, not on this particular occasion, so I think the rest of the board probably is pretty familiar with it as well.
And you found it to be completely within the law?
The
Yes.
town- In this case here, the town clerk was, every step of the way, she probably called Robert Freeman, the guru
Director.
of the state when it comes to FOIL at least 4 times, and he's agreed with everything the town has done in this instance.
But I wasn't even allowed to preview this information.
There was nothing to preview at the time, sir. All the departments, which was,
But there has to be something to preview. It was information on the spending of the town, which.
okay, you know
I-
more about it, so you tell us what you want to tell
Well,
us.
on top of that, like even here's a small stack of duplicates and information I never requested, shouldn't have to pay for. I specifically requested an email document. I was denied an email document
No, you weren't, you got an email document.
after I had to pay for a hard copy, $113.50, that I didn't request.
You
The
most
law-
certainly did. We have emails going back and forth between you and the town clerk, what you wanted.
And that's fine. But once
Well-
I indicated, I asked whether it be emailed, whether it be hard copy, nothing was stated. There was
Yes,
also-
don't be saying that. That is not
No, we can
true.
go through the emails. The other issue is, there was absolutely no bid. You can't just stick me with 454 pages when there's duplicates of duplicates. Like this, just the first portion, it's darker than the original. This page was specifically.
I don't see, we did not send you one page that
Well-
looked like that.
You did, even in the email.
Show-
I
Can
specifically.
you just bring that up for 1 second? I want you to show the clerk. I can tell from here, we did not redact any information from any of them. Let me see that.
No, you didn't redact anything.
Well, it's all black.
It's a picture of a refrigerator.
Oh, that's a picture, okay. And so what is the question there?
The question is, there's even multiples of just a picture of a refrigerator. It's not a bill, it's not an invoice. If you see the 2 copies in here, this one was specifically photocopied. As you photocopy it, it gets darker.
Okay.
Why would I ask for 2 pictures and pay for 2 pictures of a refrigerator on top of a stove, on top of frequently asked questions? I didn't ask for frequently asked questions on a grant.
You asked, I'm not gonna say what you asked,
What,
because I don't
what
know.
do frequently asked questions on a grant have to do with financials?
You
I
asked
should-
for the document, I gave you the document.
But I didn't ask you where the money came from.
I'm
I
not
asked you
gonna
for
argue it.
financials.
That is financial. If you ask us where did the money come from, we're identifying where the money came from to pay for it.
I didn't ask you where the money came from. I asked you for the financials.
But
Nothing
money,
about 40-some odd pages of frequently asked questions of filling out a grant has anything to do with financials.
it does. How do you think we got the money? Money is financial to me.
That's fine. I didn't ask you where the money came from. I want to know what the spending was.
It's identified in there.
It's not. On top of, if you want me to go through, either way.
You
it's
have the
multiples
opportunity.
on multiples on multiples, pages that are not even filled out for grants.
It doesn't have to be for a grant. You asked for financial.
It
Is there-
doesn't,
They were in the file.
there's nothing even filled out on this page. Why would I ask for that?
You can come in, look at, I believe you've been in contact with the town clerk on more than one occasion. This falls under her purview, and you can discuss it with her.
It doesn't, because it even states specifically in the law, on a frequently asked question, can I inspect the records instead of paying the fees?
Can you what?
Can I inspect the records instead of paying the fees?
If there were
It's
records,
spe-
if there were
There are
records,
records, then what were you photocopying if there were no records?
We had to
If you have
produ-
no records on financial statements, there's a bigger issue at hand here.
look, Mr. Bruin, either you want us to respond to you or just continue
I've
over
received
talking
no
about it.
response. I've waited very patiently on this. I've
no
received
response?
no response.
Okay, keep talking. Go ahead.
If you have something else to say. But it literally says on a FOIL request website, can I inspect it instead of paying fees? It's a one-word answer, yes.
You don't understand. There was nothing to inspect. We had to go to 4 departments to put together your file.
Who was we?
Well, not we, the town. Michelle Stancotti, that's her
So
job.
Michelle, you put this packet together specifically, you.
Michael,
With
I'm
the
not
help-
discussing the FOIA with you tonight. You came into
Why-
my
yeah,
office, I think I explained it, I told you, I
Yeah, but you
suggested.
didn't.
You
I
called Bob
specifically
Freeman.
asked you if there were duplicates. You said I couldn't preview because there's nothing to preview. There was a copy that I had to pay for in front of
Right,
me,
and when you
which
said
means I
they were
can preview
duplicates, I
something.
asked you to flag them for me, you said you didn't have time for that, and that, you left, so.
You didn't ask me to flag them for you. You said
I did, I
spec-
said, show me the duplicates, I will give you your money back.
I couldn't
said
show you
flag
anything.
them.
You were behind bulletproof glass with a copy that I couldn't
I'm
look
not
at.
discussing it tonight. no.
What is there not to discuss? We're going over a specific issue that I
Then
was
come to my
illegally
office
charged
to
for.
discuss it, that's all I could tell you.
We can't discuss in front of a camera that people
It's
can
not
watch.
a
Is that what
town
you're
board
saying?
issue, Michael, it's a town clerk issue, and I'm not on the board.
I believe it is a town board issue because we have not been able to come to a resolution, so it has to come to a different panel. 'Cause-
That it can, if you do want to write a complaint, you could do that. But that's if
the
you don't
complaint
get
will
the
be-
information.
I'm giving the town one more opportunity before I have to bring it to an Article 78, where the town will be liable for my attorney costs.
Well-
I'm trying to save the taxpayers some money.
And I suggested you call Bob Freeman, and you will be saving the taxpayer money because everything I did and gave you went through him first. So do that.
I find it to
Also,
be completely inaccurate, because even on the state, just recently, I FOIL request something. Your response to, you can't email it, is it's in a bound folder, but you can charge me 25 cents for a copy. I believe it's
I
27 pages.
emailed you what we had copies of. What was in a bound book, I told you you could come in and look at, take pictures of, or I can copy it.
Okay, so
I
there's, so
can't
there's,
email
right, so
something
there's
I
a
don't
physical,
have a copy
there's a
of.
physical piece of paper. If you can copy
Yes.
it, your copier is also capable of scanning and emailing. You can't charge
First, I
me
have to
s-
copy it before I can email it. If you want to copy it.
That's
you have-
ridiculous. Your copier that you would use to copy is also capable, instead of copying,
He doesn't
scanning
get
that
it. I
document.
tried explaining.
Which
I
is-
think she's trying to explain to you that she can't take that out of the binder.
You don't have to. In order to copy it, if this is bound right here, you copy it one page at a
And
time,
then-
one page at a
Then you
time.
have to be charged for it. Because
Exactly.
you're asking for it.
Under
I don't
FOIL
have to be
law.
charged for it.
You could come
Yes,
in and
you
look
do.
at it first,
Yeah,
Michael,
for a
and tell me
copy.
what you want, and I can make copies of it.
Well, then-
That's the FOIL law.
Right, but it's not, because it specifically states you have to email it if you have the ability at no cost. You have the ability to
If I
scan
have a
that.
copy of it to scan to you,
Then what
like
are you
I did
copying?
the other ones, I did. I
Because,
emailed
yeah, but what are
everything.
you copying? If you're copying something, it means there's a physical copy there.
I'm not gonna discuss
Whether you have to
it.
make a
There's a
duplicate.
physical document, she has to make a duplicate just to be able to scan it, and that, the FOIL law allows for the town to charge 25 cents a page.
Up to 25 cents a page, which is over the actual cost, far over. Like, it's not a government.
Are you
established
kidding? If
at
we got
25
back
cents.
money for what it cost to put that package together, it'd be a lot more than 25
It
cents
wouldn't.
a
I
page.
could literally do it double-sided at half the cost. I can go to Staples and
you
have
can
it
do
done
that.
at 14 cents a copy. I couldn't, because I had to pay you for a copy instead of getting the emailed copy to me, which I could have
You
produced
had-
myself at
Okay.
a third of the cost.
I
This is the issue.
I would like to say that the cost has been 25 cents for well over a decade. That's just what it is.
Well, when was the last time the board made a resolution on the cost of the copies?
It's state law.
State law.
It's
We're
not.
allowed
In
to-
town code, it specifically states that from time to time,
You cannot-
the town board has to make a resolution on the cost of those copies.
You cannot you cannot be over 25 cents, that I know, but you
Right,
can
and that's
be.
the maximum.
Right, and as I said, the time to put that, and they've been saying. the
Town
time-
code says you can't charge me for that time.
Yes, it
No.
does. Not town, wait, town code, we got state code.
That's fine, but you also have to abide by town code, 107, TAC 8. There's no fee, there shall be no fee charged for the following: inspection records, which I was denied,
No, you were not denied.
search for records, you can't charge me for the search,
And that-
or any certification pursuant to the section. It also goes in that the town board has to set a resolution from time to time. The last time I see it updated was 1988. I'm pretty sure in 31 years.
25 cents in 1988?
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you, it doesn't say anything in there.
Getting the bargain.
And essentially, it could be. Photocopiers were more expensive then. Modern technology has caught up far ahead of the laws that are on the books. There's now email. Nobody emailed in 1988. There was a few people doing it. The laws on the books haven't caught up to current technology, and I think 31 years is far in excess of what should be going on. It's absolutely wrong. And it's absolutely insanely wrong that you would stick me with a copy I didn't want with absolutely erroneous information and copies of that same
Erroneous?
information.
Why would it be erroneous?
It has nothing to do with what I asked for. Nothing.
What did he exactly ask for?
Well, I sure didn't ask for duplicate copies of a refrigerator, of a stove that has no invoice
But if
attached
the
to
town
it
is
for
buying
it.
a stove and they're buying a refrigerator and they went out to bid, those were those numbers would come from. It has
What was your
financials.
specific request?
That's what it is.
I can read you the email I sent.
Okay, let's hear what you said.
You want, I believe it said, do any financials or
I
contracts.
said, Mrs. Stancotti, not exactly sure which department this would fall under, but I'm looking for the information pertaining to the senior center being constructed/renovated, Lakeview Manor. I would appreciate it if you could let me know who is in charge of it or overseeing the project, which I have not gotten yet,
The
and or
town board,
authorizing
you're
the
talking in
project
front of them right
expenditures.
now.
The overall, but not on a daily basis. I'm specifically requesting the full financials of the project up to as recently as possible. Just the project. You also included deeds to the property itself. That's not the project of renovation. You didn't buy the property for the renovation. More information I didn't ask for.
Deeds to the property.
Yes, there's deeds to the property, there's DEP information,
Did you keep an
surveys.
actual,
I have a copy of it.
okay, we'll have to look at it.
Case in point, along with contracts or approvals for any extra work not in the originally town-accepted contract. Lastly, I'd like copies of any pre-construction estimates and bids for the bidding process. Appreciate your time. It can be contacted through this email or the number listed below. I didn't ask where the money came from. I didn't ask, I'd like to see all of the grant information. That's nearly 100 some odd pages here.
Oh, there's a lot more than that. You only got like 1/10 of what was actually there.
Well, that's fine. It's 1/10 is too much. I didn't ask for grants. Did anyone hear in that statement where I asked, where did the money come from?
Did you say that you were looking for the financial?
Financial.
Full financials.
If we
Did
didn't
you
give it
say
to you,
that?
you would have said that.
Full financials.
Right, full.
And that's fine, but frequently asked questions are not part of financials.
What's a frequently asked
That was
question?
part of
It's
the bid
part of-
package for the grant.
I don't pick and choose. When you ask for a document, I give you the full document. I can't pick and
Those
choose.
full documents aren't even filled out. They're completely
That's
blank.
what we got, that's what we send it.
So she made, there's copies there with no writing on it whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it won't take long to flip through. They're just totally blank.
Totally
That's part
blank.
of the package, though.
Right.
Like, if you go onto the internet and look that
part of the
up.
It's the
and-
information.
You know,
Payment
payment requisition backup
information.
summary, nothing on it.
Grant information.
The next page, nothing on it, 21, 22, et cetera. But the whole purpose is to preview the information. I only have to legally purchase what I deem necessary. I wasn't even allowed to preview this, was overcharged for the
Because
information.
there wasn't a file, and we are not obligated
was
to
in
make
front of
a
me.
file. This information had to
Before
be
this was ever
gathered because
copied, I
it's an
specifically
ongoing
asked
project.
for an
Michael, I
email.
wrote it all in the email, I tried to explain it to you,
Okay.
and I asked you to please call
Okay.
Bob Freeman, so you don't have to charge the taxpayers money, because everything went through
Then
him.
we'll see how it plays out with the
Go
Article
right
78.
ahead, it's your right,
Absolutely, you violated my rights. Thank you.
Okay.
in your opinion.
We'll see.
All right, I guess if you're gonna do an Article 78, unless, if Will has something to add, then I guess we should just move on.
That-
Yes.
No sense in discussing
No,
this.
there's not. I would like the financials to be put on the next board meeting to discuss.
The what?
The expenditures of the project to be discussed at the next board meeting.
What do you mean by the expenditures?
For the,
For the project,
For the project.
where the money was going and why.
I think we discussed that numerous times on this board, and you can look at the videos to see what was said.
I'm sure I can, but I found specifically issues that I'd like to discuss.
Well, then write up your issues, to bring them to the town, send them to the town, we'll respond to them.
I've never got a response. I mean, everyone on the town board had a response. Let's say this, I was unaware that anyone else knew. You'd passed the
No,
buck.
the entire board is involved with every step of the process. They've approved the money, everything is done, we do all that right here in front of the camera, everything is done with paper, everything is recorded.
Right.
I don't know what you're
but
saying, that
I've
we're not-
received no response, is what I'm saying.
What did you receive a response on?
To any emails about this issue specifically.
You're dealing with the town clerk on this.
This part's over. So
Okay.
we've already discussed, it's moving on. You're obviously not going to discuss the financials in front of a camera.
We're
Why, I
not
couldn't
hiding
tell
any
you.
financials in front of the camera. If you have a specific question, ask. If we don't have the answer, we'll get it for you. So what's your question?
I'll submit all that later on, but there's many things from,
Submit it. When you spin it,
you
we
just
will
asked me what
respond.
question. I'm going to do it. You tell me to submit it. Okay.
No, but
That's-
you can ask a question now, you're here, we like hearing from the public, and
I
you're
would prefer.
welcome to ask.
Then I'll bring it up at the next board meeting. You don't have to put it on the meeting. I'll bring it up. I'll make a full list rather than go picking and choosing right now from my own head. I mean, there's anything from
So
sales
if you
tax
give us
issues
the
in
list
this.
before you
'Cause-
come here,
and-
so we can prepare ourselves, we
Yeah.
can probably respond to you at the meeting.
Right, and
If not, you're gonna get any further than you are tonight.
My hope is some of you will actually look at this packet that was emailed.
I have looked through it.
And it's atrocious. I could throw these up in the air right now, pick them up and have a better organization. Anything from Home Depot receipts from a contractor that are all the way in the front, when his actual invoice is all the way in the back. Then I've got to pick and choose, put it together. It was shuffled. There's just no doubt about it. You can't mix it up between hundreds of pages.
So you wanted the town clerk to organize it for you and present
No,
it
but,
to you?
no, not even organized. It can be out of date, anything from there. But when an invoice is given from a contractor, and part of that invoice is 200-page prior, there's no reason for that. They should be together. Those 2 pages that were submitted to the town together and now aren't here, it's purposeful.
No. Well, look, you have to understand that, all that information, I believe, came from 4 different agencies, right? Departments.
Yeah, and I had requested to see the information as it came in sequentially.
We don't have a file
You
on
have
it
to
yet,
deal with the
Michael.
town
I
clerk,
Yeah, but if
explained
it came into you,
Okay,
there was
I
a file.
tried to explain in the email.
Right.
We do not have a file. We are not obligated to create a file. So what I had to do is go to different places, different people, to get information that hasn't been submitted or there isn't a file yet. So when different people have to make copies to give me information, you have to pay for it, which I put in the email, that if there isn't a file, which there wasn't, you would have to pay 25 cents a page, which you agreed to.
So you're
You
saying there's
then
no
asked-
file on a project that's nearly $1 million?
It wasn't even close to $1
It's
million.
not,
Not
the
even
job
close.
is not
even close.
finished
I mean,
yet.
it's well
At least
over-
get
it's
their
well over
numbers straight if they're gonna
750.
use figures. There's 4 different departments that it came from.
Dead horse, we're beating it now.
You are.
Exactly.
No, I'm not.
You are.
You're addressing a point, I'm giving a reply, beating a dead horse, period. Next issue I have, which perhaps you're familiar with, is once it's that time of year again, my permit has been denied once again to peddle honey on the side of 312.
Now, who denied the permit?
I believe the building department.
Okay, that's where you take it up with the building department, not the town board.
Well, no, I will, because again, we're at an impasse. And
What's
it is an illegal impasse.
You continue to say things are illegal. Why is it illegal? Where is there an impasse? I believe
Because
we
he's
read,
alleging I need to be 30 feet from the road.
now it's 30 feet. I don't think he said 30 feet.
Ms. Stancati, are
It
you
is,
familiar?
What's
yes,
Is
for
it 30?
safety reasons, it's
30 feet, okay. But he's the building department, and he's the one that makes that determination, not this town
Yeah,
board.
hypothetically, it should be the highway superintendent who's an
Oh,
expert in
why is
highways.
that?
Because anyone who's an expert in highways and traffic, not buildings, would be the expert and leading authority, in my opinion.
And
Does
the
anyone
leading
feel
authority
differently?
says you can be 10 feet from, on Route 312 to peddle your wares.
It's 15 feet. The town law states 15 feet. The building inspector has no legal grounds to be more restrictive than a code on the town books.
I think you're misreading it. I talked to the code enforcement officer, and he said that minimum, it has to be at least 15 feet away. And he
Correct.
made a determination that for safety reasons, that's part of his job, is to assess what risks there are to the public. And he thought that 15 feet from the road was too close. Not to harm you in sales, but too close in that intersection where there's 4 lanes of highway. There's a strip that is not paved completely. And to have people coming to your stand, perhaps children in cars, there's too many.
But there's been somebody in that spot, not just other stuff. I've been there for over 10 years.
well,
I
I'm
mean,
just-
there's never been an issue, never been a traffic accident,
But
even
But
anything
it's the
nearly.
town's responsibility to make sure that it's a safe environment for
But then we're getting
our
into the,
people.
then we're getting into the issue of which laws do we choose? I mean, 15 feet is the max or minimum distance you can be to the road. It can't be necessarily more restrictive than that 15 foot. It's like a cop pulling you over
No,
at a
it has to be
55
at
mile an
least
hour.
15 feet away.
Correct, which I am. I
Well,
am
at least,
15
but
feet.
he's making the determination, or he told me that in his opinion, the safety of residents, the safety of
Well, I
anyone.
understand where he's coming from.
Okay.
I just believe he doesn't
Can I-
have the standpoint.
Can I continue what I thought he
Yeah,
said?
go
Okay.
ahead.
He said that for the safety of the individuals, for the safety of your customers, it would be criminal on his part to allow for anyone to be in a position where they could be harmed. And I don't think he's doing it to be restrictive. I think he's doing it, I'm taking him at his word. I think he's doing it for the welfare of your customers, our residents, and anybody using that thoroughfare.
It could be possible, but then we get into the issue of, if I'm 30 feet back, I'm now breaking the law of being within 15 feet of a lot line, which means no one can sell in that spot.
Where's that law about 15 feet from a lot line?
138.59.
And what does it
That's a
say?
zoning code. You're not subject to the zoning code there. You're there
It
as part of.
specifically states roadside stands, which I would be covered, roadside stand, may be no closer than 15 feet to any street line or lot line. It very specifically states.
Well, that's probably why it's
Be
not a
no
good place to
closer
send
than
it.
15 feet.
Right.
No
If I
closer.
go 30 feet from the road, which is indicated by the building department, I'm now within 15 feet of a lot line. Now it's illegal again.
I don't think it'd be interpreted that way.
Yeah,
I-
well,
And I think
I
that
don't-
section
I'm
also,
within it.
Mr. Bruin, I think that also, that section of the zoning code refers to permanent farm stands. Yours is a mobile visit.
It doesn't. It simply states roadside stands. If it's not
you look at
implicitly
roadside stands
excluded,
as
it's
def-
implicitly included,
As
i.e. me.
defined in the zoning code, a roadside stand is a permanent structure.
That we're again misleading because it specifically states. But again, it's gonna be another Article 78.
There's
that
you have to look up there's a
Have it
definition of
for
every
everything.
word used in the code. If you look up the definition, if it says it's in the foundation, yours is mobile, yours is not the same regulation.
All right,
Okay,
then-
look,
then
you
we'll- then
mentioned
we'll go to the
70,
other-
Article 78, so let's go to the next thing.
No, we'll go to just one more question then. Why is it that the highway superintendent's opinion is not taken into any matter here? A building inspector, which is in charge of buildings, not roadways, not even permits for a driveway, why would he be in charge of understanding the safety of roadways, which was a highway superintendent issue?
Well, the highway superintendent is the highway superintendent for town roads, not state roads. There's a big difference, and county roads.
Well, it wouldn't matter, because I believe the highway superintendent
but
from the
this
town
is-
spoke to the state as well, and the state agreed that 15 feet is a safe
You know, you
distance.
keep saying these things. Why don't you produce the documentation that was done? If there was an email sent, a letter sent, I don't want verbal.
Well, I specifically requested that the building department speak to the highway department to confirm this. They never
But he
did.
doesn't have to speak to the highway department to
He
confirm
would, because he's
anything.
the expert. The building
Who's
department,
who's the expert?
the highway department.
Well, how is he an expert?
Is that a joke?
Yeah. How
Okay,
is he
then
an
I won't
expert?
answer it.
Did he take a test and he's an expert in the field? The
In
hi-
highways,
The
yes.
the building department has
I
taken
believe it
a
would
test.
be, I believe it would be your own words. He's been reelected. The town,
Don't
in and of
blame me.
themselves, excuse me?
Don't blame me. Look it.
Don't blame
if
you
you
for
have
what?
a
Don't
question,
blame me for
Michael
what?
Levine is a trained,
I'm sorry,
And-
don't blame you for what?
whatever you want to say.
Well, no, you said it, not me. I'm
Well, you're
asking for a
coming here and you
reiteration.
continue to badger us.
Are you making a political statement?
No, you won. You say he's an expert. How is he an expert? Does he have the credentials of the town?
You're aware he goes to highway superintendent school every year in Ithaca.
Okay. Almost all superintendent of highways do that.
Right, so if they pass the school, that would put them as an
No,
expert.
not-
So
I
educated
would-
people aren't experts.
I don't know. How do you become an expert?
Ms. Eckert,
I would just like to say that Michael Levine is in charge of code of enforcement, and this is much more of in my opinion, this is a code enforcement issue rather than a highway issue. That's how I discern it. And Mr. Bruin does not go out and enforce, is not in enforcement, and
Right.
Michael Levine is. And I think there's a clear distinction that's very important there.
Well,
So,
certainly. I mean, but it goes back to the issue, how is it Mr. Levine, who may not actually be an expert, has not gone to school, has no expertise in that, is not taking the opinion of anyone else in the town? Is
How do you know he
Mr.
can-
Levine an expert?
How do you, yeah,
code
he's past code enforcement.
In code enforcement, but is he an expert in safety of roadways?
If what Will is saying, if you're 30 feet back and your concern was that you'd be 15 feet to the property line behind you, and if we said that that's not the case, is there still an issue?
Probably not, but it's gonna depend on how many people can be there and what we can and can't do. If everyone's gotta be 30 feet, that leaves room for one person who gets it. Because there's literally only room for one person at 30 feet. The other vendor who parks right on the road is 10 feet, who's at the very edge. I'm sure if anyone has driven by, you've seen where the other vendor sells, it's 10 feet. Now there's room for one person.
I believe in, Will, you'll have to help me on this for code, when this has come up, it's kind of the first person who's there, isn't it? If there's only one spot.
That's the way it's been for the,
Yeah.
for time immemorial.
The first person that's there like that day or just in general for the
No,
permit?
no, it would be that day, because you're supposed to remove your vehicle or whatever, if it's mobile, it's not supposed to be there overnight. So would that be correct, Will, or whoever gets there first?
Well, I think there's been,
Yeah.
it's been the practice in the past not to issue permits for the same location.
Right.
Obviously not. There's been 2 people in that location for well over a decade, well over.
That would be 2 hot dog trucks, or 1 honey truck, 1 hot dog truck, that would be acceptable. We wouldn't put 2 the same there. And there's only 2 issued in the entire town. Is there 2? No, there's 3 issued in the entire town.
Well, part of the issue is every year, it's another issue that particularly isn't an issue. This year, it's the 15 feet. Last year, it was no longer accepting my state permit. It needed to be in writing. That put me out of business for 4 months. If we continue on this path, it's gonna be another 3 months. The year before that, I needed Board of Health approval. Honey is exempt from Board of Health approval in New York State, as is maple syrup. That took another 2 months to get that put through. The year before that, I needed a new county permit. A county permit is a lifetime thing. I go to the county says, well, we can't give you anything, it's lifetime. You go to the town, well, they have to give you something. And then the county says, well, we can't give you anything. Then the next year, Board of Health says, well, we can't give you anything. Town says, well, you have to give me something. Meanwhile, I'm stuck out of a job without income for no reason other than the town making up rules that were previously accepted in the past, but are now no longer valid.
Laws change.
They don't.
We had public
They
hearings
don't.
here.
Nothing changed.
We had public hearings here. This code was changed at the request of people that wanted Venn trucks. And one happens to be in the room, not you, and I don't want him to come up and speak, but we changed the rules, we thought for the better. And it was requested by the public, and we did exactly what was requested.
Then it needs to be across the board. If it's 30 feet for me, it should be 30 feet
I'm
everywhere.
not saying, no one said to the other person that it's not 30 feet.
It would-
When they
And it
come in,
would-
when people
A
come
30
in,
foot everywhere would be near impossible, depending on where anyone sells.
well,
It would depend on the road and the traffic, too.
Certainly, and I believe you'd have to go to the highway superintendent to discuss traffic and what road it is. I don't believe that's a building department offense that can be actually manipulated through them.
Well, that would be a total change of procedure, because we really have relied on our zoning code enforcement officer. So
But
if
that's
you
the
want
issue.
to,
I mean, he could certainly be an expert in code enforcement, but it doesn't make him an expert in safety or what town roads or state roads are capable of or incapable of.
I believe he'd be more of an expert in safety than anyone else in this town. Sorry. That's his job.
but you could, you can certainly, it's within your rights, as you know, to petition us if you think the law should be changed in some way, or,
I do. I don't believe a regulator can deviate from statute which they're given.
Did you not sit out here in this audience when we were passing those laws? Didn't you not sit back there? I didn't know who you were at the
Those
time.
laws, which laws are you referring to?
The one you're speaking of right now.
Let's listen.
You sat back there and went to every meeting, never stood up and said a word.
And
And now you're not happy.
well, I'm not happy because it's been in the same spot. 15 feet has been a accepted distance for well over a decade. Now this year, it's the new excuse to keep me out of business during one of the busiest times of year. When do people eat the most honey? Tea and honey.
But I thought the 15-foot rule is not keeping you out of business. Or the 30-foot
No,
rule.
the 15 is not. The 30 foot is now, because now I can't do this, I can't do that. And if I put in the permit, because it's been accepted on my road plan before, but if I do it this year,
have you talked to Michael Levine about going back the 30 feet, and if then that would be a problem? Because that, to me, would be the simplest way to solve this, without you everyone going through this process.
I have, and we've come to almost.
I think it would
this-
be smart, and I'm happy to help out, is to sit down and to figure out, if I'm back there, I don't want to then get a ticket for being too close to a lot line. I agree with Will in this case, and I think a fixed farm stand is different from mobile. But, I'm happy to help with that, if that would help you out. Let's get that part of it solved, so you know you can be there.
It certainly could, because I can't wait any longer to go back into business. I mean, if I took a week's pay at a minimum from any of you, it hurt pretty bad. On top of me having all the animals to feed, etc. I can't just skip paychecks. It's not something I have the ability to do. I'll live paycheck to paycheck. Not that any of you care. I mean, I'm sure there's some up there that do, but it's It's absolutely insane that every year it's something new. It's been accepted many times prior, but then it hops up, bam, I'm out of business. Last year, 4 months, year prior, 3, year prior, 3. Of the last 3 years, if this goes on for 3, 4, because it's the next board meeting, then it gets voted on at the next board meeting, of the last 3 years, I'll have been put out of business for 1 full year because of the town board.
Are you not at that site? Are you not there doing business now?
I can't, I don't have a permit. I have a state permit to be there, not to sell.
So you haven't been out there yet this year?
No, not even once.
The truck, or the unit's been out there, your trailer's
Correct.
been there. That's what you've probably seen, because I
Yeah,
know
I've
that's
seen the
out there.
trailer there, that's why.
It's been closed, waiting, customers can call me on the side, I'll explain the issue of why I'm not there. Because otherwise, they just think I've packed up and left. It's near impossible to keep a customer base when you're closed X months of the year.
Yeah.
They go elsewhere. As soon as they find a new vendor, a different place, an Outhouse Orchards, a Salinger's, they stay there. And it's absolutely ridiculous.
No, I've seen your wagon there. I didn't know that you weren't continuing in operation.
I can't, not without the permit. I mean, I can be there, I can't sell.
Well, if you want to work on make sure that happen to agree in this case that 30 feet, the further back you can be, I believe the safer your customers and our residents will be, and people who aren't residents here. But if you want to make sure before you open up or whatever, that you can do that, I'm happy to expedite that.
It does, yeah, and I would appreciate that greatly. I mean, I don't know if you have any of my numbers in any of the email, if you can call me or we can work something out. Because it goes on the next thing. Tractor trailers pull and they park. As soon as a tractor trailer pulls in front of me and parks, which will happen, I'm not there. Kiss an entire day's pay goodbye. If you go there right now tonight, tractor trailer's parked there. Over 3 hours against the law.
That's not against the law. What law do you keep referencing? Where's there a 3-hour law, tractor trailer can't park there?
I'm not here to
Tractor trailers
educate you on your own town laws.
Tractor trailers come over all day long, 24 hours a day, they pull over to rest. If they're there 3 hours, if they're there 24 hours, there's nothing prohibiting them from doing that. You say
They're
there's a law.
actu-
Show us
yes.
the law. You keep quoting the law. Show us this
Pull
law.
up town code. I'll
What?
teach you how to pull up town code, hit Control F. That's a find feature. If you
Yeah.
type in tractor trailer, I assure you, you will find the law that states they cannot park on any town roads for longer than 3 hours in the town of no, I'm sorry. They can't park on any road in the town of Southeast for longer than 3
It's a
hours.
state road.
It doesn't matter. In the specific law, it says they cannot park on any road in the town of Southeast. Not a Southeast road. Any road in this, understand the brevity of this, of what I'm saying. Any road in the town of Southeast for longer than 3 hours. Period.
So how do you vend for longer than 3 hours?
I'm not a tractor trailer.
Oh, it's just tractor
Just a trailer.
trailers. I don't believe that's.
Last year you were in front of this board though, and I thought that when we were discussing, like Tony said, that we had a public hearing in regards to, that you couldn't leave your vehicle there overnight. And I know that you're still leaving it there overnight, so
Well,
I'm asking right now.
right now it can be there- it
Just
can
in
be left-
general, like, has that issue been resolved, that you found out for sure you can? I mean, do you have a permit, as far as our town code, as far as I know, you shouldn't be there every night. So, in theory, your point is moot of whether the tractor trailer gets there before you or not, because you shouldn't be there.
Well, part of that issue in
Yeah.
finding out whether or not I can or can't is that they were never, there's specific laws on there that say they can. But I was the only one given tickets, yet there's tractor trailers there as well. It's a selective enforcement. It's constant harassment over and over.
Well,
So
I-
I can't park
I
there.
think what Mr. Bruin is getting tickets for is violating the vending and soliciting law,
Right.
which you have a permit, or had a permit. The issue with regard to the tractor trailer, that wouldn't be under the vending and soliciting
I didn't
law.
say we were breaking the same law, but it's a very similar law in the
No, it's
exact
not
same
similar.
place.
It's not
It
similar
is,
at all.
there's no parking for over 3 hours, or there's no parking overnight.
Well-
They sound pretty similar to me. And they're in the exact same
If you
spot.
leave your vehicle there for more than 24 hours, it's an abandoned vehicle under our code too, which could be towed away.
Right, but I have a state permit that allows
You
me
have a
to be
state
there.
vending permit
But it allows me to be on state property.
to vend, but if you're closed, you're not vending. You're leaving it there.
it's up for debate.
I thought also, and I don't know, Will, if you can elaborate, I thought with the last same conversation that we were having was that you were supposed to get permission or present us with documentation from the state that said you could be there or something to that effect.
And that was
That was
resolved,
the
that
issue. And I
was,
don't
re-
think I've seen that as
no, that
well.
was resolved by going to the county,
Okay.
which we found out they would honor the county's permit for the state. We found that out last year. That's
Yeah, because
resolved.
it's a state permit from the county, so on and so forth. But,
Which is issued to you because you're a veteran.
correct.
And that means that only you can vend there, meaning the veteran,
Okay.
not your employee, no one else, only you.
Right.
And the reason why the peddling and soliciting law was amended to create for food trucks was to.
Which I'm not.
Not under our definition, you are.
Then
In your
again, it would-
opinion, you're not, but under our definition, you are. You're selling food, a food substance.
But it's not prepared on-site food. I don't need Board of Health approval, which I think would clearly state it's not a food truck. If Board of Health doesn't even see the need to regulate it, it's clearly not a food truck. It's not prepared
They've-
on-site, it's
they've
not
said that?
consumed
You have
on-site.
documentation
If anything,
saying
I
that?
would be covered under what would be more resembled a farmer's market.
Do you have a permit for a farmer's market?
I can't get any permit.
Well, I don't, I personally disagree with you. I think that you're trying to interpret our codes to your advantage.
I don't think it's to my advantage whatsoever.
Oh, it is to your advantage. because
Then I'd be
you-
out there selling today, not here wasting my time,
Well,
if it was to my advantage.
but you don't want to comply with the laws as they've been interpreted.
Right, but even like I had stated with the tractor trailers, the 30 feet, they're going to pull in. They're going to park and
The
sleep when they're
tractor trailers,
tired.
I assume, can pull in there because that's a state highway. The state Department of Transportation paved
Right,
that
and
area.
that's not a problem. I don't have a problem with the tractor trailers. The issue is when they pull in and do block me, now I'm not there. Now I have no income. At
And
30
that's
feet
something I
back,
don't believe
that
that
leaves
we
me
can
no
regulate.
room.
But there again, nothing would preclude you from parking. I assume you drive there in a vehicle because the
Correct.
trailer's there. I mean, you are allowed to park 10 feet off the road, so that then tractor trailers couldn't pull off into there. I mean, you could do that.
Once 30 feet, you're right at the back of the
No,
parking.
no. I'm saying your vehicle, your car, not your
Yeah, but
stand.
there'd still be a gap, because from 10 feet to 30 feet, let's say there's a 15-foot gap in between, or a 10-foot gap in between, et cetera. They can pull right in between, let's say, my truck there. No one's gonna see my truck and say, oh, he's here. Nobody knows my truck, except for maybe Mr. Hay.
So, well, I think you could, if you're really clever about this, you could make it so it'd be very difficult for a tractor trailer to pull in when you're operating, and it might,
I
it
could,
also.
but that's gonna get me into jail. If I'm blocking a thoroughfare, state police could come in and say, well, you can't just have this there and block that.
Well, your customers do. I assume when they pull in, they wouldn't pull in all the way back to where you're
You'd be
operating.
surprised at what the track trailers do and don't do. It's just,
It's only a suggestion, you don't.
no, I
have to take.
appreciate it. Anyway, we'll end it on that. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
I just have a question, not really a comment. I live in Brewster, Kathleen McBride. You closed that station in, by the highway department for drop off your electronics and
Yes.
stuff like that? And the garbage men don't take TVs and stuff. So when is that gonna be opened?
We are right now in limbo with e-waste in Putnam County.
Limbo?
Limbo.
My TV is in the garage. I want it out.
Well, you shouldn't have bought a new one, you should have.
No, it's not new. It's old. It's
Okay,
ancient.
look at,
I
Putnam
was
County,
told to bring it back to where I got the TV.
yeah, but that doesn't work too well.
That gotta be in the Bronx somewhere.
Crazy Eddie went out of business long ago.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
no.
let me tell you what's going on,
Tell
okay?
me, tell me.
Putnam County was very helpful with the towns, and they created this e-waste distribution and
Right.
pickup. What happened is the vendor has chosen not to continue the contract. They continued for a year. Right
Well,
now,
did you pay them, Tony?
did I pay him? No, the county
You
did.
wanted
county
money, right?
paid.
You
Well,
wouldn't
the
pay them.
county was responsible for the program, helping out all the towns. You wanna hear the answer, you wanna play games? Okay, listen, the county has a program. Now, they sent us an email saying it was being discontinued, okay? It's been discontinued. When I contacted the county, I asked them a question which they can't answer at this point in time. Usually, twice a year, the county has what they call hazardous waste pickup days.
Right.
And I would say that this type of material is close to hazardous waste. Do they plan to pick that up twice a year so we can tell the public something? Right now, they have not given us an answer. So on our website, we're at the ready. Once they tell us what they can do or what they can't do, or each town are gonna have to go out and fend for their own with e-waste, but the county, I believe, should at least pick it up twice a year under the hazardous waste day. But they haven't come back and told us yay or nay. When they tell us, we will move forward from there.
Well,
Right now,
my concern is about the whole thing, is that, you know, I mean, I would do it, but if you can't get rid of something,
it's on the side of the
just
road.
dump it on the side of the road.
We're very familiar with that.
You are.
I'm going to a county shared service meeting tomorrow. This is the top of my agenda for the
I
town.
hope so, because I was
we'll-
like,
we should have some more. I also, I mean, I have read that there are, I don't know whether stores have stopped doing this, but you could certainly call and see, you know, that Best Buy, certain stores were taking
yeah,
things.
that
I'm
I
just-
don't know, because I know
call
like
them.
paint that you buy in certain stores, you can bring the
Right.
cans back there, but they have to be bought from that
You're
store.
very persuasive, call
Yes.
them. But I will,
Oh, and
this
yes,
is,
but they'll take my TV set?
yeah, yeah, well, no, and I will check on this tomorrow. and-
Yeah, no, I just
we'll see
like,
what
I
we
was
can
like,
do.
I spent like almost a whole day, you know, on the phone making all these calls, and I was like, Jesus, this is gonna be like, you know, you're coming up 684, and you get to Brewster, and there's gonna be all this stuff thrown all over, because you got no place to get rid of it.
Well, this just started unfortunately about the third week in December, so we were all hit with it like really quick.
Yeah,
We have a
alright.
problem now with the town with the recycling and what you can accept, what you can't accept. I mean, people are actually going crazy because
No, I
you need,
know, that's
you need a
another thing.
scorecard now to put your recycling. And, it's become a big problem. China doesn't want it.
Inspection.
No one wants this. I would say the county's working on it, the towns and the county are working on it, but right now, we don't have an
You
answer.
have no solution right now. All right, I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of the TV sets. all over the
We're
road.
working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Town board members?
Happy New Year to everyone, still. It's our first meeting.
Okay. Anyone else? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we close tonight's meeting.
Seconded by?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.